I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess? Hello, ladies, men, and non-binary friends. Welcome back. And to all of the new people here, an extra special welcome. Lastly, to the people watching this who haven't subscribed, I fucking see you. And I will remember this. Today we're talking about Russell Brand, a self-described comedian and actor with a rich history of being a perverted asshole. He was recently met with allegations of sexual assault against him. I know, I'm shocked. I mean, who knew the guy who was fired for reading pornographic material on air wouldn't be respectful of other people's boundaries? He was also fired from another job for dressing up as Osama bin Laden the day after 9/11. I feel like I had to include this because it was just too wild to me. Since these allegations, he has tried to win back love from the general public the good old-fashioned way, by trying to convince us that he's a godly man. Unfortunately, these recent allegations were not the first in a long documented history of his creephood. It's a really long list, so please try to stay with me. Apparently, while as the host of Big Brother's E-Forum from 2004 to 2007, he asked the runners of the show to get phone numbers of audience members he was attracted to. One of the production staff described it as such. It was like we were taking lambs into slaughter. We were basically acting like pimps to Russell Brand's needs, they said. Which is fucking dark, to say the least. He also reportedly started a relationship with a subordinate on the show, a woman who worked as a runner. After flashing her and making jokes about oral sex in his dressing room, the two started a consensual relationship. Brand insisted that the relationship remain a secret. In 2006, Brand co-hosted The Russell Brand Show on BBC Radio 6 Music. I will not be discussing the essays in depth because they are graphic and disturbing. But if you'd like to read the detailed accounts of these women, I've linked a video and various articles below if you are curious. The first is from a woman going by the pseudonym Alice, who was 16 and still in school at the time, while Russell Brand was 30. Ooh. This time in the early 2000s was filled with creepy shit Russell Brand did. And while most of his MTV talk show is lost to time, I did find a disturbing clip for you. An uncomfortable exchange between him and one of his guests when he told her to, quote, get her knickers off.
Caprice, are you wearing one of your own bras? I mean, I know it's your bra, just so you didn't nick it from a public lavvy. But I mean, are you in a bra designed by you now?
No, but I'm wearing my knickers.
Get them off.
Okay.
There won't be a point where I go, oh, don't. There'll be a point where I go, go on then. Come on! Everyone does it. Don't be afraid of your own sexuality. Be a bit afraid of mine, though. Right.
Where do we go from there?
Telly. It's for the telly. Exciting. But man, does it? People do wank. Like, look at you all. You've all had a little wank, probably within the last 24 hours. Dirty devils. Caprice. Caprice reportedly has had her breasts insured for 50 grand. What are they insured against? Fire theft, acts of God, or terrorism, or what?
Definitely terrorism.
Do you think Al-Qaeda may attack your Twin Towers?
Possibly.
They wouldn't, the swines. Not that, I don't know my views on that. I think they're all right. No, they're bad. I can't remember which is right and wrong anymore. Say one of your breasts sagged. Would you cash in on the policy, or would you want to protect your no-claims bonus? It's a funny joke. Have you?
But I never insured my boobs.
You've not insured your boobs?
No.
Haven't you?
No.
That's good, because I'm going to throw paint on them in a minute.
In an interview in the Daily Mirror from 2006, Danny Minogue described Brand as, quote, completely crazy and a bit of a vile predator, adding, quote, I certainly don't think he has cured his sex addiction. She said that Brand, quote, wouldn't take no for an answer, pestering her to give him her phone number while following her down a hallway. Ooh. Quote, throughout the whole interview, he kept making shocking remarks that I can't even repeat. In June 2008, one woman going by the pseudonym Olivia claims that Brand exposed himself to her when in BBC's Los Angeles office, and said exchange was later joked about on his radio show. Like, literally less than a half an hour after this took place. Brand's colleague Matt Morgan said, quote, it's been 25 minutes since he showed his wanker to a lady, and you can hear Brand's laughter behind him. He was fired from the BBC later that year for leaving a voicemail message on famous British comedian Andrew Sachs' answering machine saying that he fucked his granddaughter Georgina Billy. What a class act, right? This occurred on October 16th, 2008. People called in to complain about his crude remarks, leading to his firing shortly after. After being fired from multiple organizations for various types of sexual misconduct, he took a hop over the pond and started perving it up here in America. In 2008, on the set of the movie Arthur, another woman going by Jane Doe says that Brand exposed himself to her, followed her into the bathroom on set, and assaulted her as a crew member guarded the door from the outside. Truly fucking horrifying. She's currently pursuing a lawsuit against him in New York for this. Her quote, "As a result of the sexual abuse, I suffered and continue to suffer extreme embarrassment, shame, and fear." He married Katy Perry in 2010 and divorced her by text in 2012. This isn't part of the allegations, but it certainly does add to his general persona of being a piece of shit. In 2012, he got his own talk show called Brand X, which only ran for 2 seasons. Oh no, but people seem to love it so much. It was at the launch party for this show that Brand met a woman who is calling herself Nadia to stay anonymous. Her account is particularly graphic and disturbing, but Nadia says that the second time they slept together, Brand essayed her. She went to an R-word treatment center that day and went to therapy at least 5 months after the incident, and there are documents to prove this. In 2013, a woman who was chosen to go by Phoebe met Brand at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and after being asked to join him on a project he was working on, he essayed her in his own home. She ran out to get away from him, passing a group of people who were heading to Brand's house for a business meeting. Years later, Phoebe bumped into a man who had been in that group, and he apologized for not helping her. Phoebe states that he pulled me aside and he said to me, "I have never forgiven myself for not running in that house to save you. I heard you screaming, and I didn't know what to do, and we were all so scared of him, and I didn't do anything, and I'm sorry." Since these women have come forward sharing their experiences, The Times has announced that several more women have come forward to speak to them about Brand in the wake of the joint investigation with Dispatches. Even as I was researching this, I kept stumbling upon videos of Brand being an absolute fucking creep. It was like a try not to mention sex, rape, or boobs impossible challenge.
The more you say don't, the more he does. That's Russell. As a journalist, I am prepared for all events and all kinds of people. And when Russell Brand decided he would like to kiss me, well, you know, you size up the situation. You think, am I in danger? You know, what could go wrong?
Liz, that's your fault. Because you took your eye off the road because things was getting a bit fruity out there. All right, Liz, goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's been really a wonderful experience. See you later, Liz.
Russell.
All right, take care. Russell, I can undo your bra just like this.
And because there is an ongoing criminal investigation, I have to say that this is all alleged. But that doesn't mean I can't voice my opinion on it. So my opinion, not in the court of law, my opinion is that he fucking did it. I think he did all of it. And I'll have that on the goddamn record. This man has such a vivid history of being an absolute fucking creep. I'm honestly shocked that these allegations are just coming out now, and it speaks to the horrible fucking working conditions that these women were forced to be under while working alongside Brand, and presumably any number of other creepy men. Every single one of these women who worked with Brand that came forward spoke about how they were afraid to say anything for fear of losing their jobs. Because Brand was the talent, the star, and many of them were working as assistants, runners, etc. They didn't have his amount of power in those settings, and many of them were just starting out their careers. Now, this isn't new. We know how exploitative the entertainment industry can be, which is why Brand did receive a lot of backlash initially, even though it really wasn't covered much in the mainstream. I mean, I'm hearing about this months after these allegations came out, and I still struggle to find people on YouTube covering this.
We're going to broadcast a potentially career-ending expose. People were saying it must be a comedian. You're obviously a comedian. Did you know who it would be?
Yes. This is a well-known open secret from the comedy circuit.
Right.
Something that's been talked about, certainly to my knowledge, for at least the last 5 years. It's something that's been pretty openly discussed in the comedy industry. I think I remember first hearing about it kind of in mid 2017. Deadline ran a story about an incident that happened on a TV show called Roast Battle where jokes were made referencing Brand being an abuser, and they were removed from the broadcast. That obviously happened on a studio floor. So from that point onwards, it was common knowledge within comedy that there were several allegations about Russell Brand, and specifically relating to sexual assault. So from that point onwards, it was well known. It was discussed by multiple comedians in Edinburgh Fringe shows the following year in 2018. Like it was that well known.
What was known? Like, is it, because I think that's something that, you know, in the documentary, they talk about this idea in that is in plain sight. You know that it's on the line, but you don't actually know that it's crossed it.
To be completely honest with you, the story that I had heard was relating to a sexual assault. It was not covered in the documentary. It was a very specific and serious allegation. I was not aware of any of the stories in the documentary. I was surprised watching it how far back this had gone. So it is possible that there's more allegations to come. Look, I think this is a real moment for everybody to consider how this was allowed to happen and how this was allowed to go on for so long, and what are the systemic and institutional failings. If you look at Russell Brand's IMDb page, you see that his television work in Britain starts to dry up around 2018, 2019, and that's simply because increasingly people were just not willing to work with him. Everyone was afraid to talk about it because of the threat of lawsuits, you know, and so the only power people had was to withdraw participation from shows involving Russell Brand. And that goes for everybody. That goes for comedians, that goes for people that work in production. And you can see from his IMDb page that he starts to increasingly only work in America and work on his own podcast channel and YouTube channel.
So what was his reaction to this? Well, like any problematic person with access to the internet, he made a video. All of his language is incredibly vague, and he doesn't explicitly say what the allegations actually are. He calls himself transparent, quote, almost too transparent. Then immediately shifts the conversation about his potential guilt to a conspiratorial idea that, quote, the media is going after him.
I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play?
Then he weirdly references a similar media takedown that happened to Joe Rogan.
Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of.
I think what he's referring to is when in 2021, Joe Rogan tested positive for COVID-19 and publicly announced that he was taking a widely discredited drug that the FDA strongly discouraged people from using, because it was meant as a veterinary drug to deworm cows and horses. Oh yeah, there's no other purpose of those media outlets commenting on that than to, quote, take down Joe Rogan. It's not like ill-informed advice from someone that's not a medical professional could have negative consequences when that person has an audience of millions. Shut the fuck up! Then Brand references in his comments because his audience is telling him he better watch out because he's getting too close to the truth.
I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too close to the truth, Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles, Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist, Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice.
Which is like, oh my God, the perpetual victimhood. I cannot even imagine. He then goes on to say that there are witnesses that directly contradict what these mainstream media sources are saying about him, and that these women are liars. They're dirty, dirty liars. But then he doesn't say anything he could use to defend himself. Like, he doesn't cite any sources, any witness statements, any DMs, text messages. Nothing.
Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these two mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together.
It is just so pathetic.
Would any of you find it credible if 5 people accused me of assault rape and I said to you, you know what? They're coming after me because I'm getting too influential. My political opponents want to silence me. I have too big of an audience. If I said that, you would rightly say, David, no, you don't. And his audience is 35% smaller. So it's all very strange.
And dare I say, his comment section might be even worse. Because these people actually fucking believe him. Since then, the criticism from the general public has continued pouring in, if only slightly, and that initial statement that he made clearly wasn't cutting it. So what was Russell Brand's solution to this? I bet you'll never guess. He converted to Christianity, giving himself a baptism and diving headfirst into the born-again Christian niche. I love how Yahoo News doesn't fucking hold back. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that you can't find God or whatever, but it does seem awfully fucking convenient that the moment you're dealing with these allegations and a literal lawsuit against you, you would do something drastic to rebrand or revamp your image, especially in the eyes of your now very conservative audience. This, to me, is a distraction. It's PR, it's to help people forget. And to me, this seems like it is clearly a grift. For the majority of his career, he capitalized off of his hedonistic persona, constantly talking about sex and pleasure. And then he shifted to this like vaguely spiritual person with like no clear alignment to any major world religion. Katy Perry at one point said he was into Hinduism, which, yeah, you look like a white boy who would be into Hinduism. He gives me the vibe of that guy in college who would say a bunch of like fake deep shit to try to be interesting enough to get laid. But this complete abandonment from his left-wing fandom after these women came forward kind of forced him to lean further and further into his right-wing fandom anyway. So why not further capitalize off of that by doing something like a baptism into Christianity? Even if it's not a grift, your timing is incredibly suspicious. Various right-wing commentators congratulated him on his journey, including Jordan Peterson, Alex Jones, Michael Knowles, Candace Owens, which he seemed very receptive to. And that makes sense, right? Like, now that he has all of these allegations against him, this is the only group of people that will actually accept him.
Now, Tucker Carlson says that all of these women are accusing Russell Brand because he's anti-vax and he doesn't support Ukraine, which is a certainly equally strange thing to say. Tucker tweeting, criticize the drug companies, question the war in Ukraine, and you can be pretty sure this is going to happen. Same idea. He's just saying all the things you're not allowed to say. Alex Jones says he's become friends with Russell Brand over the years, and he says women throw themselves at him. Why on earth would he have to sexually assault anybody?
Hey, I know Russell Brand personally. I knew him back when he was married to Katy Perry. He's come on the show a few times. We've hung out some in Austin. I've never seen women throw themselves at anybody like with him. At restaurants, at one of his events I went to, it was literally women jumping at us, okay? And he's a big guy in person.
Big, strong guy, burly man.
No one ever accused him for the last 15 years of assault. They say he's a big sweetheart. And now because he comes out against Big Pharma, he comes out against the globalists, he comes out...
There you go. He's against the globalists. Why would any famous man ever need to sexually assault anyone when there are so many women throwing themselves at them? We actually have an answer because some of those men have explained, oh, it actually gets boring having women throwing themselves at you. So you need to rush in a different way. So then you may go over the line into sexual assault or whatever. It's a very weak defense. And then Elon Musk, lastly, I guess suggesting that whoever accused Russell Brand must be doing it because they are actually the rapists and sexual assaulters and they want to monopolize rape. Elon Musk tweeting, of course, they don't like competition. Really weird stuff.
But at least he has the support from people like Elon Musk and Andrew Tate, right? Every single one of these women, except for the ones who were already famous, have given themselves pseudonyms to remain anonymous. They're not looking to launch their careers through this scandal. They're not looking to get anything out of this other than justice and to warn other women to stay away from this man. He has always been disgusting and pervy. These accounts do not surprise me at all. Russell has not brought forth anything to defend himself or debunk these allegations, and his history of sexual misconduct is not working in his favor. Despite saying that he would talk about this in the future, he has not discussed it beyond that first video, and I doubt he ever will. He has an army of cult-like followers that believe anything that comes out of his mouth. He has a show on Rumble, he has a thriving YouTube channel, and frankly, I doubt that anything that myself or any other journalist will say will sway these people. This video is more for anyone who wasn't aware of this situation, and just to tell you to stay away from this man and the project he's involved with. I will not be supporting this man. This whole situation just seems absolutely fucking bonkers to me, and showcases just how far we have left to go, not only to protect women, but men and children from predators in the entertainment industry. I wish all of these women healing, and this is just a warning to everyone out there. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. As always, I have Rawan's GoFundMe linked below. She was supposed to attend university this year, but Israel bombed her school and home out of existence. If you are not able to donate, make sure to leave a like and a comment to boost the algorithm, because there's got to be someone on this godforsaken app that can donate $1 or $2. I'm currently running a D&D campaign where all of the ad revenue goes directly to Palestinian families, so by literally watching D&D, you are helping the people of Palestine. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Please take care of yourselves. Bye.